when lovely woman invites you to madness, and the room furtively crosses, nude.
Soft music enchants us, like a gentle mist.
Within you, in your flesh, love, what trembling, what arms.
What heaven without truth.
Love, what heaven, garden of my agony. From your veins blood flows to my lips and quenches my...
Hello and welcome to another episode of The Grindbin. I'm Mike Wood.
I'm Bobby Trippett.
And I'm Spencer.
And today we're talking about 1970s In the Folds of the Flesh.
It's fun for the whole family.
Hey, Bobby, I got the money.
Dad, I made the team. But you're a hooker.
Get that goddamn thing out of your mouth.
Why did set it knockers?
I don't know. Ain't got no real rhythm. We're gonna play a little game, baby.
I just love funny games. Get a little girl all hot and horny.
This is Los Angeles.
How the hell is women's live? I'm horny. And maybe Daddy would have had to kill himself because he couldn't get it up anymore.
What a shame.
For jacking off. Come on, just step on the gas before we get creamed. And more.
So guys, before we get into it today, on our Valentine's special for the Grindbin, we have some sad news. Now, we're recording this on January 30th, and today we had two Grindbin All-Stars pass away. One being Dick Miller, which is, man, that sucks. But Dick was 90 years old, and you know him from this show on Bucket of Blood, where he starred in that great Roger Corman movie, and he also appeared in one of the worst movies we ever did, which was Mob Boss, which was a totally demeaning role for Dick, and he had to kiss Eddie Deacon's hand.
I forgot he was in that.
Yeah, I did too, honestly.
I think Dick did as well.
I'm sure he forgot a lot of movies he was in.
Yeah, and I'm sure he'll return to the Grindbin one day, but you will be missed, Dick. You had a great career, and we love you around these parts.
Absolutely.
He is genuinely one of the greatest character actors, period. Just like in his story.
Like, as a kid, I remember him most from Gremlins. Like, it was a pretty awesome role he had in that one.
He was the neighbor?
Yeah, he was the neighbor who got crushed by the gremlin driving the bulldozer through his house.
See, the one for me was I would watch Chopping Mall every damn day on a beat-up old VHS tape, so I know Dick Miller as a janitor getting electrocuted.
So I'm sure if and we've had requests, if we ever do another Biddies, Dick, you'll have your tribute on there for sure.
We've had requests for another Binnies?
Yeah, well, we'll put it to a vote on the Patreon, see if anybody actually wants it.
You got one vote over here.
Oh no. The other one who passed away today, guys, Louisa Moritz, not as known as Dick Miller, but she is a 3-time Grindbin All-Star. She was in Last American Virgin, Chained Heat, and Lunch Wagon.
Damn.
You'd remember her from Last American Virgin. She was the lady's house they delivered the pizza to, where they were all taking a turn. And in Chained Heat, you know, she was just one of the prisoners. And in Lunch Wagon, she was in the infamous Lunch Wagon episode. She plays the girlfriend of the bad guy.
Man, that is sad. So, needless to say, we are all at half-mast right now here at Grindbin HQ.
Sad day for the Grindbin Studios. But guys, today we are talking about a movie, a Giallo movie. Is this one of our first ones?
I think it's our first actual Giallo film.
And Spencer, you've brought us this movie, so go ahead, explain yourself.
So, there's a streaming service called Fandor that I am a huge fan of, and it had an uncertain future currently because of investors. But one movie I discovered on there probably a year and a half ago was In the Folds of the Flesh. They have a lot of art house and used to have Criterion stuff and like international, like quote unquote, like, you know, important cinema. And they have like crazy shit like this on there too. And this is something that has always stuck with me. It's kind of unforgettable because it's I love Giallo, and with Giallo you can get something like Tenebrae or Four Flies on Grey Velvet, or you can get something like this.
This is certainly unique. I've never heard of this movie before. I think it's like a real... it's certainly Italian. I'll give it that.
Yeah, it really is something. And part I picked it is because I just want to try to figure out what the plot is exactly.
As I was saying to each of you guys earlier today, by the time we get to like the last 5 minutes of this movie, I was cackling like a madman. Just I was losing my mind.
Oh, the amount of twists and turns would make M. Night Shyamalan go crazy. Like, I don't think even he could handle this movie. Because, and you're saying, Bobby, in the last 5 minutes, they just start dumping stuff on you. You're like, stop. Okay, we've got enough. Like, just stop, guys. Stop. It's fine.
Like, every character is like, but that's not all.
Yeah, and this movie is just a little too lively for M. Night. He's a little too self-serious and down. This is like his
That's
crazy
true.
cousin.
Yeah.
And honestly, if M. Night put himself in here, like, who would he play?
It had to be someone important.
I think he would play the convict.
Oh, you think so?
No.
I mean, all his movies have a kind of a Christian-y vibe to them, a bit.
Yeah. You think Signs has a Christian-y vibe to it?
Well, I went to Catholic school and we watched that maybe 3 times.
Wow.
Wait, you watched that in Catholic school?
Yes, about 3 times.
Wow.
They have to
We could
prepare
not
these
watch
children.
Napoleon. Yes, it was era of Napoleon Dynamite. But that was not allowed because the principal saw MTV produced it and figured, oh, that means it's inappropriate for children. Let's watch Signs instead.
Wow.
There's a nice Christian message at the end of Signs.
Yes, I had an interesting school, like Catholic school experience with like the movies that were picked.
So, guys, I don't know if you did any research about this movie, but it's kind of interesting in that it kind of ended the careers of 2 of the people in the movie.
Oh, no.
That's not surprising.
One of them is just like by choice, and the other one is very tragic. So we'll start, though, with the writer and director, Sergio Bergonzelli. 28 credits, but this is probably his most well-known movie. Obviously, an Italian director. The Last Gun in 1964, he made a movie, Spaghetti Western, and guess who that stars? Cameron Mitchell.
Oh, man.
Ooh.
In a spaghetti western.
Yes. I didn't know he was in any of those, but he is, As we know, Cameron Mitchell, a prolific actor, if there's a paycheck or a sandwich, he's there.
That's all he needs. Now, I wonder if he's actually in it or if he's sitting at a table somewhere. He's like the bartender presenting the story.
Well, this is 1964 Mitchell. This is peak Mitchell, Bobby.
Oh, he's still trying.
He is the star of that one. He's
Wow.
the gunslinger himself. 1971, he made a movie called School of Erotic Enjoyment.
All right.
It's about a teacher at a high school who's challenged by students who claim full sexual freedom. And then he's seduced by a bet by one of the students.
Just like School of Rock. Pretty much the same movie.
Yeah. Oh, God.
Ugh.
So here's one I really like the description of. I've never seen the movie. 1988's Blood Delirium. Have any of you seen this?
Didn't Chris Mann open for them?
Here you go. After his beloved wife dies, an unbalanced painter who believes himself to be the reincarnation of Vincent van Gogh goes over the edge and digs up her corpse with the help of his necrophiliac butler to bring it back to the castle and use it for, quote, inspiration.
Wait a minute, Mike. This is that episode of Zoobly Zoo we covered on the Minibin.
Oh, yeah, yes. As you can listen to on our Patreon for $2 a month, we did an entire month this month of Grindbin is for children.
Yeah, you said minis are for kids, and my hashtag
Minis are for kids.
Grindbin is for the children.
So both of them. We're competing for taglines, but you can check that out there. And they dig up a corpse and...
And he's the reincarnation of Vincent van Gogh.
Yeah. There was somebody else who wrote this movie with him, though, and his name is Fabio de Agostini.
Nailed it.
He has 16 writing credits, but they're all in Italian, and they're no movies you've ever heard of. The cast, though, here's where you get to the tragedy. Eleonora Rossi Drago, who plays Lucille. She has 66 acting credits. She starred in a ton of Italian movies through the 50s and 60s. She was considered a great actress early in her career, but it never really took off. She never broke through to superstardom. She did have roles, however, in 1960's David and Goliath, which had Orson Welles in it, 1961 Sword of the Conqueror with Jack Palance, and she even appeared in Grindbin All-Star John Huston's The Bible in the beginning in 1966. That's right. Grindbin All-Star Tentacles John Huston, one of his better efforts.
What, tentacles?
Yeah. And then when she appeared in, here it is, guys, because you know this movie was made in 1970. She had 2 movies she made in 1970. The first one being Dorian Gray, and then this. And guess what happened after this movie?
What's that, Mike?
She said, "Fuck it," and quit acting.
This was the one, huh? This was the last straw.
This was it. She said, "You know what? Fuck this shit." She retired. She married a rich businessman, and that was it.
I can't hate on that.
Never to be heard from again. She passed away in 2007 at the age of 82, but this movie did her in. And then we have Pierre Angeli, who plays Felice in this movie. She had 34 credits, guys. She won a Golden Globe in 1952. Yes, Felice in this movie, believe it or not, won a Golden Globe, but it's kind of a Pia Zadora type of award because she won it for, quote, Most Promising Newcomer Female for 1951's Teresa. Now, here's the thing is she also, like Eleonora, couldn't break through into superstardom. She appeared in some Hollywood movies. 1956's Somebody Up There Likes Me with Paul Newman. She starred opposite Paul Newman in that movie. She had a few roles through the 60s, and then it kind of dried up. The last two movies she made were this and 1971's Octoman.
What's Octoman?
Octoman is an Italian... Yeah. Octoman is an Italian sci-fi movie where a man becomes an octopus.
Oh my god, it's like The Fly, only an octopus.
Yeah, and guys, she was then found dead of a barbiturate overdose in her home in Beverly Hills. She was only 39 years old.
Oh man.
But the last person, guys, it's all good for him. Emilio Gutierrez Caba, who plays Colin. Guys, he has 210 credits. And guess
shit.
what? He's still working. He has like 3 movies he's in right now. He has been acting in Italy for decades. He has won dozens of international film awards. He is a prolific European actor.
Wow.
Well,
Of all the people in this movie that would be like go on to basically superstardom in his own country, the creepy Colin guy.
He did it while looking like the kid from Burial Ground.
So that's it. That's all I have for the background of this movie. There is literally, there's no trivia. There's very little known about the production of it. It's just, most Italian movies, as we know, it's just kind of like they'd film a whole shitload in a year and they just kind of throw them out there. And I mean, I can't even begin to explain how many Giallo movies there are in the world. There's just hundreds, I assume.
I just bought a Blu-ray compilation of just Giallo trailers, and that shit is like 5 hours long.
yeah, the Italians were just like mass producing like all of this, and then once like video and DVD happened, there's kind of like, let's just only transfer 1/5 of all of this.
Yeah. That
It's like
Yeah,
a whole lot.
I mean,
of
there's,
it.
and the Blu-ray companies at this point have an endless amount of Giallo movies they can just pump out every single month.
Like our friends at Arrow Video, who are putting out a Giallo almost every month.
Pretty much, yeah. And they're of varying quality. I mean, sometimes the thing with Giallo movies is like, there's so many of them that they're not all great. But when you do find a good one, it can be really good.
Yeah, or a memorable one like this is not a good one per se, but it definitely is a memorable one.
That's a very accurate description, and I feel like this is more than one. Wasn't
Yeah.
just one movie?
This is like scraps from another movie that they're like, well, we could probably make something else with all this. And they're like, yeah, whatever, just edit it together.
It's not often you see a movie that got remixed.
It feels like a season of a soap opera that was cut into a 90-minute movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really does.
And they started to go like, oh shit, we're at 90 minutes, so we got to fit 10 episodes in the last 5. So we got to get
and
going.
that's why every character comes running in with like a big reveal to say.
Yeah,
This guy's climbing in through the windows going, wait!
and the title even has like a ridiculous, and it kind of has like a melodramatic vibe to it. So it's like, oh yeah, In the Folds of Flesh could be like a weird soap opera.
Oh, definitely. It comes on after As the World Turns.
And it starts strong because the first thing we see is a title card, not of the title, but it says, and then a sudden violent shock that left a deep impression on the mind and damaging it permanently.
I mean, to be fair, it damaging it permanently, Mike.
It's Sigmund Freud, so maybe it's just a bad translation to English.
Yeah. Needless to say, all the blood spilled in this movie is type O. Good night, everybody.
Yeah, I'm going to go to bed.
Spend So we start strong. It's a very pieces type of opening because we just open on a shot of a woman sitting amongst a severed head and other body parts as children are standing nearby, and a young boy, as I can see, is holding a trash can, or trash bag, ready to just kind of put it away. And then we, do the old Italian zoom and cut.
The zoom ins here are just so ridiculous. Like I didn't notice it until this time. It's like the fourth time I've seen it. And I was thinking there should be a drinking game for all the zoom-ins, but then immediately, but by the end of the movie, I was like, "Oh no, this would kill an elephant."
Oh god, This is like that old SCTV thing with John Candy, where every time they'd go in 3D, the camera would start zooming in on them.
What's funny is like with this movie, they do the zoom, then they'll cut to another zoom, then they'll cut to another zoom, and it's like, okay, stop. There's like 5 in a row where it goes up, and you're just no,
make it stop.
But we cut to this is where this movie starts out, and I'm just like, am I just crazy, or is this like the hardest shit ever to understand?
Oh, this part's the easy part.
Yeah, well, yeah, as I explained that this is the easy part. Okay, we cut from we do some Italian zooms. Police are on the way. They hate tripods apparently in Italy, like because this shit is shaking all over the fucking place. And then we cut back to this lady who is Lucille is covering a body with a rug, which is a real theme for this family, as we'll get into. And then we cut back to the police. They're chasing a guy on a motorcycle. And at this point, I'm just trying, does this have anything to do with the severed body, or is this like police chase unrelated?
No, this is like Voyage of the Rock Aliens opening with an unrelated music video.
And then cross-cutting between the real movie.
We're just setting tone, Mike. It's like being chased by the police while burying a body.
And the bike guy gets away, and he finds some random speedboat that's just sitting on a dock. Then we cut to this lady. Now she's burying the body parts in her garden, right? And we should mention that. So this lady and her family live in some giant castle. Is it on an island, or is it just like a peninsula? What like?
I always took it geography. Never mind.
Geography?
No, I'm trying to make a Giallo pun with geography.
Oh, wow. That was a tough one.
Yeah. Geography.
That's too many syllables. No, but like I always took it as there's a wealthy family for some reason that live on a beach or like a resort town type thing.
It's a beachside castle in Spain.
Yeah, because this is a Spanish co-production, so maybe who knows.
Now the thing is this a house or is it like a hotel? I'm just wondering,
like a faulty towers situation, like on the other side of the building while all this is going on, there's people checking into a hotel.
Yeah, well, I mean, the size of this place is insane because when I'm saying it's a castle, there really is like a giant castle. Like it goes up, there's like a watchtower and everything. It's like 10 stories tall.
The exterior shots are straight out of Monty Python.
I mean, it's Europe. They have castles everywhere.
That's true. But what's really funny is that this castle only seems to have 2 rooms. Or 3. About 3 or 4 rooms total. And a basement.
The rest is just hallways.
Yeah. And it's very open design, very modern. Or like modern for like American stuff where it's like even the bedrooms have no doors, which for Colin is totally okay. But in the beginning there are little cuts to the young Colin like peeping. I think he's peeping on his mother burying a body. I think that's what that's supposed to be, but I'm still not 100%.
Yeah, I think he's peeping on his mom burying the body parts in the garden.
Yes.
After she's done burying these body parts, then the police show up. They go, "Hey, we're looking for like a convict." And at the same time, while she's burying this, the guy is like spying on her while she's burying this body.
Yeah.
And so then the police go like, "Hey, hold on a second. Do you know where this guy is?" She's like, "No, I've never seen him." They're like, "Huh. Well, what's with this fresh grave?"
He didn't. He says like he didn't bury himself.
Now, also, is there a cemetery in their backyard? Because there are like headstones and stuff, right?
I think. Well, a few months ago, me and my girlfriend went to Virginia and stayed on Airbnb at this like old farmhouse, and there was a family graveyard on their property.
Was that listed on the Airbnb as one of the perks?
My girlfriend did the planning, so I don't know. But knowing her, possibly.
The key in the lockbox will be left on top of Granddad's grave.
Well, I'm hoping they didn't do what they did in this movie, where they exhume a body at some point. Like, hey, want to see a skeleton? Just for fun, right?
You guys want to see a dead body?
There's a lot of that in this movie. There's a lot of, hey, you guys want to see a dead body or bones and stuff? And people are like, not really, but they do it anyways. So the police at this point, they're like, all right, well, what's with this fresh grave? Oh, never mind. There's the guy we're looking for. Here he is. And so they see the escaped convict. They round him up. They cuff him, and they go, all right, back to your cage with you. And then, guys, that ends.
Yeah. Cut to 13 years later.
Well, not quite, because our credit sequence has this like psychedelic paint swirl.
Yeah,
and
it reminded me of
quote.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre a little bit. We have the narration, but instead of it being John Larroquette with like that great voice, it's just this Italian dude, and then for some reason on the second word, just like on a word, the second word is echoed again, but like screamed by like this woman, and then the rest of it is just a guy again. It's like, is this trying to be artsy? What is this?
What has been remains.
Remains!
Embedded in the brain, nestled in the folds of the flesh, distorted, it conditions and subconsciously impels.
Okay.
All right.
Then we watch about a 3-minute credit sequence with that trippy background. And then we cut to some guy in a German Shepherd or riding in a car. And then they get out. Okay, here, you know what? I kind of got issues with this. Is they get out and the dog starts attacking the giant bird in a cage. Now, here's the thing. This man's name is Michel, right?
Yeah.
Yes, old Michel, as he's called. Now, here's the thing. Is that later on in the movie, somebody goes, that's Michel's car. Michel didn't drive here. He got dropped off.
Yeah. To be fair,
like a lift.
The car they're talking about is the same car because Alex is driving the car. So it's not Michel's car, but it is the car Michel showed up in.
Okay. But somebody else drove it away. At this point, he doesn't have a car.
Yeah, but then the guy who drove it away drives back later, and we meet that guy, the guy driving the car.
Okay, I never understood that part until now.
Yeah, neither did I.
Oh, I got this all. Don't worry about it. I've cracked the code.
Old Michel and his German Shepherd get out of this car, okay? And this is the point I go, the fuck is going on in this movie? We're 8 minutes in. We're 8 minutes in at this point, and nothing has made any fucking sense. And then he just walks up, and so the lady from the start of the movie is now 13 years later, right? Yeah. He just walks up, and he's like, oh, hey, Lucille, my old friend.
Hey, remember me? It's Michel. Like, oh, yeah, it's good old Michel.
Yeah, remember me from season 2?
Yeah, from season 2, yes.
Season 2, episode 8, remember me?
Everybody loved that episode, so we brought him back.
Here's the thing, guys. I would say this is a movie without a protagonist because nobody is likable at all. And we're constantly like searching for somebody to like. But when old Michel shows up, he certainly isn't likable because he just starts. So he's related and somehow to everybody. Yet, even though he's related,
he's Lucille's cousin.
Yeah,
I think, and he starts hitting on her niece.
Yeah,
in quotations.
He says, "Hey, who's the doll?" And she explains that it's Uncle Andre's daughter, Felice.
Yes, which is great, by the way. The premiere, I guess you'd say, the reveal of Felice it's pretty great. She just kind of like bends up from the garden holding a bunch of plastic flowers, some very, very plastic flowers in her hand. And she is, I don't know what she was doing there, but she's now like in perfect makeup and perfect hair and everything. She looks like she's going for a night on the town when she was just apparently gardening.
She doesn't half-ass anything, man. And he explains to her as he walks over to her and he gets real close. He's like, God, 13 years ago, you only came up to my elbow. I'm your cousin, Michel. God, I used to tease the pants off you. Can I have a kiss?
Yeah.
It's, that's just the start of it.
Yeah, I was like, these Italians. Yeah, this is how all my Italian family is, guys. All of them.
Oh. I mean, I went to Catholic school with a lot of Italian kids. Is that what that's like to visit them? Just like everyone's super super friendly for some reason.
Oh God! Every time we go over to Mike's to record an episode,
Yeah, we're always grabbing each
you
other.
know, he's like, "Hey, it's me, Mike, your co-host. You remember me? God, I haven't seen you. Give me a kiss."
Oh, I do it Duke Mitchell style.
You do.
I grab you on the back of the head. I go, come here. What are you? Come on. It's not gay. Give me a kiss.
You're gay if you don't do it.
So then Colin, who is Lucille's son, so Colin, guys, I would say in a movie of characters that you can't like Eddie, Colin's probably my favorite because he's the most crazy.
Is it because of his fashion sense?
Oh, what impeccable fashion sense. I mean, how would you say he is?
Oh God, this guy's a trendsetter. He's like a high-end rodeo clown.
At one point later on, he's wearing a jumpsuit with a very deep V. And the jumpsuit is like this super gaudy Italian red. He has like a medallion, and his chest has like a couple hairs on it, and it does not look good. Like you need chest hair to pull off something like that.
He looks like someone getting beat up by Black Dynamite.
Like I feel like Rudy Moore saw his wardrobe and was like, "Oh, I can do that better."
There we go. Yeah.
Look at this rat soup eating motherfucker.
We learn that Colin is the kid from the start of the movie that likes to watch body parts being buried.
And that he was 8 years old when his father, quote unquote, drowned.
Yes. And we're just like, okay, well, there's a lot flying at us right now. We're through 2 seasons of this soap opera within the first 10 minutes.
And he starts explaining this whole drowning thing, and he's being very flippant about it. It's so much so that Felice decides to swing on him. And when she does, he ducks it and then kind of takes her down on the chair and starts running his hands all up and down her and kissing her feet. And what the hell are we doing?
And we get a weird flashback of like of like their dad, I think. And then like the speedboat is like getting tugged by a bigger boat.
Oh yeah.
You get this panning shot of just the family, and then you see a priest like blessing the boat as it's going by. And when I saw that, it didn't strike me as absurd until this time. It's like, is that supposed to be a joke? The priest blessing the boat, because he has like an altar boy next to him.
Well, they do say that you do christen a ship.
I believe the law in Italy is that every time a boat leaves, a priest and an altar boy has to be there to see it all.
We need a young priest and an old priest.
Yeah. So apparently, we learned that old Michelle is here because he's just visiting completely unannounced with like a freaking big ass dog that's like trying to bite. Now they have these vulture pets of theirs. There's 2 vultures that they keep in a cage outside that are pets, and this dog is like trying to eat both of them. And he's going fucking nuts, and he never shuts up. And old Michelle's like, "Oh yeah, I came to visit. I haven't seen you guys in like 13 years. Hey, what's up?" And I'm just like, "Well, wait, hold on a second. How long is he here?" That's why I'm starting to wonder. Is like, is this a hotel? Like, what the fuck's going on?
Well, back to your note on the dog. My girlfriend has a cat who likes to attack everything, so I feel like a cat would equally be as willing to attack the birds as a dog would be. As a dog owner, I need to stand up for dogs and say, like, cats are assholes too.
Well, here's the thing: is we're gonna get into this movie. Now, Bobby is endlessly mad at me for what happened to a dog in a past movie, but what happens to a dog in this movie is unforgivable. It is definitely the worst thing I've seen happen to a dog in a Grindbin movie.
Yeah, what the fuck, guys? Why are you making me watch it?
Yeah, I forgot that happened, but it looks so fake. To me, it just looks so fake. It didn't bother me as much.
Yeah, I mean, it's the Italian style, so it's not done well, but man, what's implied is rough, and we'll get to that one. Yeah. But inside, right now, we're talking about, because here it is. Old Michelle has come to visit. He hasn't seen everybody in 13 years. What do we do when we first get inside? Well, let's bring up that death, right?
Yeah.
They're like, hey, remember when that guy died and like you buried him in the garden or some shit? Man, that was fucking crazy, right?
And he has a special gift and, convinces young cousin's daughter, to be like, hey, I got you some jewelry. Isn't that kind of nice?
Like a real life Beetleborg.
Okay, so fucking disturbing. It's like a cockroach.
Yeah.
With like a a candy wrapper, like a gold candy wrapper on top of it.
It's like, like you can lay that edible gold over a donut in certain parts of New York.
Yeah.
You just laid some of that on a cockroach.
And it's still alive. It's still alive. And he's like, yeah, put it on your arm.
Yeah, he said it's a living jewel. He's trying to impress his niece that he's known since she was a baby.
Yeah.
And he's much older than.
Don't you find this titillating?
Yeah, that's how he impresses her. He asks her if the cockroach with a freaking candy wrapper on it titillates her. Okay.
And Colin is not happy.
This is when I write my notes. What the fuck is wrong with the Italians? I am Italian, and I'm like, what the fuck, guys?
I mean, that's the real takeaway from this episode.
Yeah, Colin walks in, and he's like, whoa, that's my territory, buddy.
Yeah, he gets very jealous, and then he looks at it, he goes, I bet the vultures love to eat that thing, And he's going out to feed the vultures, by the way, with some sort of indiscriminate meat.
Of course.
That they always just seem to find around this house.
Perfectly
right?
normal so far.
Just like Texas Chainsaw, Franklin has that hunk of meat or something that he's chewing on the whole time.
Speaking of Texas Chainsaw, the next scene of this movie seems like we've just time jumped to 4 seasons ahead now, because we just get a shot of Felice is now showing Michelle this room, like this closet with a bunch of skeletons in it.
Yeah, she's just got her bone collection.
Yeah. And she goes, yeah, we just dug up a tomb. I'm like, wait, what the fuck? What?
Yeah, this entire movie feels like we're watching a top 25 countdown of the best moments from In the Folds of the Flesh. Here at number 10,
Felice finds bones.
Let's go to the clip.
Oh yeah, that does make me think of like all the weird Ed Gein inspired art in like a Texas Chainsaw.
Would you like to see our lamp?
But there's no crazy moment of a close up of a chicken in a cage. That's, I think, it's supposed to be a joke in Texas Chainsaw. Although,
well, we do get vultures in a cage.
That's true. But Texas Chainsaw, I find the movie to be very funny in parts.
Oh, it's definitely supposed to be.
Okay, thank you. I was on Joel's podcast talking about it, and he does not find it funny at all.
Yeah, well, Joel doesn't know shit. Hi, Joel. No, I do feel that there are definite intentional comedic moments in that movie. It is still a very frightening film, but yeah, I mean...
It still is, but like when the dad comes home and is like, what have you boys done to the house since when I've gone? Like, that is funny. Like, it's unsettling, but still funny, like his reaction, like, oh, they're just a normal family. And something horrific is happening, but it's just this weird, like, sitcom moment.
Definitely.
Like that. Yeah.
So she collects bones, right? Because they dug up a tomb, which is a whole nother thing. So apparently there's some sort of like Indiana Jones / Tomb Raider type of family where they have tombs either on their property or that they exhume looking for gold. And she was like, this tomb was already looted.
They're weird, wealthy, rich people, so they have to have a weird hobby, right?
Yeah, and this family's hobby is fucking each other and digging up dead bodies.
But the mom doesn't approve of the fucking each other. She knows it's happening.
She like tolerates it to a point, and then she's like, all right, that's enough. That's enough.
It's like a hockey fight. we're gonna let him go for a couple minutes, and then we're gonna come in and blow the whistle.
It's gonna happen. You can't stop it. You can just only postpone it.
So then this scene ends by them putting the cockroach in a skull and talk about how he might get titillated in there.
All right, sure. And now on to clip for number 10.
Yeah, Colin is feeding vultures, who he proclaims are apparently on a hunger strike because they're not eating enough.
Yeah, that was a cute, speaking of Napoleon Dynamite, that was a real Tina, eat your ham moment.
Yes. And so then he watches as the German Shepherd, Bobby, is digging up a grave, and he starts licking a skull. And why don't you explain to us what Colin does?
Okay, so the German Shepherd goes and finds the plot from where they buried the man 13 years ago, and starts rooting around and digging. And well, it doesn't take long for him to dig up some remains, and we can't have that. So Colin runs over and shows him a little trick he picked up in the CIA. He pulls out is it a garrote? A garrote? How do you say that?
I think.
Oh, I thought it was just a chain.
Yeah, it is basically. But yeah, he chokes the dog out. He strangles the dog with.
Oh, your fancy word for
Oh,
chain.
I'm uptown, Mike. But yeah, so he chokes this dog out and breaks its neck, and I'm pissed. And I'm flipping over tables like, you motherfuckers got me again.
Well, I immediately wrote Bobby in my notes. But also, I also wrote that I've never seen a movie where I actually saw the life leave a dog's eyes.
Yeah.
It was disturbing.
You know what? Burn this podcast. I'm done.
I have seen some on-screen animal, like actual on-screen animal deaths that are far worse. So like stuff like this doesn't faze me as much. Like if you've seen like Come and See, that World War II movie, the Soviet one from the 80s, that has a horrific scene that I think they kill a cow on screen.
Oh, God.
And it's like kind of like this, but if it was done by someone who knew what they're doing.
That is one thing that saves a lot of the more gruesome moments in this movie, is it's so ineptly performed that it becomes almost comedic.
So the next thing we see, guys, is that Michelle and Felice come outside to see what the hell the commotion
Yeah, because
is.
they hear the sounds of this dog getting murdered, and she says to him, it sounds like your dog found himself a girlfriend. To which he responds by stepping in and grabbing her by the hips and being like, I hope I'll be so lucky. And I'm expecting her to not be receptive, but she says back to him, well, the night's young.
Yeah, and I'm like, okay, hold on a second. It's clearly established that they're cousins.
Yeah.
At the beginning of this movie. Like, what the fuck? So, guys, it gets worse. Because the next thing we see is Felice is sleeping. Now, here's the thing. It's so confusing. Because, again, this is a clip show of a movie. It cuts to Felice sleeping, and then we see Michelle writing a letter. I thought he was writing her a letter. Because the next thing he does is he, goes into her room, and I thought was going to, deliver it to her in bed.
He's going to leave her, a demon cop letter?
Yeah.
There have been other cousins.
Instead of that, he starts rooting through her drawers, not her drawers, her clothing drawers, in the dresser.
Yeah.
And she just gets a knife from under her pillow and stabs him in the back. He dies, and then the rest of the family comes in and they're like, oh, not again. So here's the thing where this starts. This family, not only do they sleep together, they kill together. Okay? And Felice has this problem where when she sees a man in her room, she starts having these flashbacks of a younger her killing somebody, and then she immediately grabs the knife that she always keeps under her pillow, which is at some point the family should probably take the knife away.
Though, how often do you think Colin is coming in unannounced?
Well, every night.
So you got to sleep with a dagger under your pillow. You're like, Colin, this needs to stop.
They have a weird relationship, as gets revealed in a key scene later on.
It's true.
Yeah.
The only daggers that are being pulled out are the ones that were previously snakes.
Jesus.
That's a Lady Terminator reference for you listening at home. Go back and listen to our Lady Terminator episode.
So Felice is rubbing the dead body for a while.
Yeah, that got weird. I didn't know where that was going.
And so here's what I love. This is a little running theme that I really love with this movie, is that we saw it in the beginning, and now Colin covers Michelle with a rug and drags him away, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm just like, so every time they kill a person in this house, they got to waste an expensive rug. And I really like that.
Yeah, I feel like that's a sign of their wealth, that they can just use up all their rugs because money is nothing to them.
That's a real status symbol.
Yeah, get another Persian rug. Felice has killed another. And did you notice, Bobby, I think you'll get this reference, is that whenever Felice kills a man, she has that Dudley boy look, like when they put somebody through a table. You know what I'm talking about?
When Bubba's just sitting there.
Do you guys also think that Felice does that so she doesn't have to do any of the cleanup?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Because she's going to kill multiple people in this movie, and every time she just does that blank stare, and she's like, I'm incapable of doing anything. You guys better get rid of the body.
Yeah, I think it's part of her and Colin's elaborate sex game.
As it goes on, it seems like Mom, Lucille, kind of looks pissed every time this happens, because she's like, for fuck's sake.
In my notes here, I have the zoom-ins are out of control.
Oh, and because every time they show the vultures, for some reason they couldn't get it in wide shot, because it's always just crazy close up, and there's all these zooms and shit. And at this point, they're feeding the vultures. And did you guys think so did they feed the dead bodies to the vultures?
That's what I assumed, but
yes.
But then we learned they don't.
I think
Well, I guess maybe they get the meat off of
I think
it.
they cut off a little bit for the vultures. They give them a little taste. They let them get their beaks wet.
And so then, okay, now do you guys understand what's going on? Because Lucille is now holding that letter, which I thought was a love letter that Michelle had. And she's like, he was going to send this letter. It's our cover to make sure that this letter still gets sent. Who is it being sent to and why?
They mention a name. They say Derek.
Yeah, the letter says, "Dear Derek, all well, come immediately."
Yeah. So what the fuck's going
We'll
on?
learn this. We'll get to it. It all gets
Yeah,
explained.
I'm still not sure
Yeah.
who Derek is.
Yeah, Bobby, do you know who Derek is?
I totally do. We'll get to it when we get to it.
Okay. So now some guy with a weird beard shows up. So I call him Weird Beard. Okay. But was this the guy that was driving?
This is Alex. This was the guy who dropped off
Okay.
Michelle at the beginning.
Yeah, he looks like Lin-Manuel Miranda a little bit.
This is Alexander Hamilton.
Oh, yeah.
We'll just call him Alex for the rest of the movie.
Well, I call him Weird Beard because it's like he could grow a beard on his whole face. So for some reason, it's like bizarrely detached. Because he has the full beard. Like he has a beard that goes all the way back to his jaw. But then for some reason, he shaved the sideburns part.
Good look.
It's very bizarre. So it's just like he has the world's biggest goatee or just like a chin strap of a beard that doesn't connect to the rest of his head.
I mean, he made Hamilton, so he can do anything he wants now.
That's true. So Weird Beard, here's the thing. He just shows up and, he wants to endear himself to the audience. You're like, okay, here's a guy. Can I root for this guy? No. Because the first thing he does is he starts shit-talking the vultures and then he spits at them.
Like he's trying to fight. He's like, "You want some of this too?" to the other vulture after he spits.
It's like, what the fuck? And then, so I'm just sitting here going like, does he know these people or is this a hotel or something? Because he just walks into the house. He just starts walking around and goes, hello, hey, anybody home?
When he shows up, they are doing like an acid bath for a corpse in the basement, I think.
He spies on it, right? So he sees in the basement they're doing some sort of weird acid bath thing.
Yeah, it's a little 10 Cloverfield Lane.
Yeah, they're doing a John Goodman, right? And then for some reason, they left the dog collar at the window, and he like grabs it, and he's like, all right. And then outside, Weird Beard's just looking at this dog collar, and then Celeste comes outside and catches him. She's like, what the hell are you doing here? And he's like, oh, hey, I'm Michelle's friend. I was supposed to meet him, and, this is his dog's collar, so what the hell's going on? Where's Michelle? Where's the dog? And then she just kind of explains it away, but then this was also the weird thing where he like asks her for a cigarette, and then she's like, do you need a light? And he goes, no, I just collect them from women.
Yeah, he warns her. He's like, I gotta let you know, you're talking to a real Casanova.
Which is, that's the thing is like, you're a real Casanova when you have to tell people you are, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's how people know he's a Casanova, by announcing it to every woman he meets.
So yeah, that's definitely how guys working and dating right now. They just go, I just want you to know I'm a real ladies man. I'm a real Casanova. Also, can I collect one of your cigarettes?
At this point is when Colin shows up in his red jumpsuit with a really deep V.
Hell yeah.
And the V goes down to his belly button. I'm not joking. It's ridiculous.
You think he was in the store and he's like, no, deeper V, deeper.
Give me some scissors. We're gonna make this.
Go get it down to the belt line. Like, yes, there we go. There we go.
It was getting so hot in this thing.
Yeah, you're right. He's getting good airflow, because he lives by the beach. They don't have AC in that castle, You got to do
Spend
something,
a lot of time
man.
in that stuffy-ass basement.
And that's the fashion in the movie just gets crazier as it goes along. Like, I think at this point, Celeste is wearing like a long sleeve yellow shirt and then leopard print skirt, leopard print vest, which I've never seen a leopard print vest before.
It was fabulous. And looking at these outfits and the general decor of the people in the house and the color palette, I started checking my apartment for a gas leak. I was like, this can't be.
And you know how to follow up that part before when he told her he's a real Casanova? Is that he brings Celeste inside, right? And he goes, hey, guess what? Not only am I a real Casanova, but I got a great, quote, technique.
Oh, it's great. He says, when I'm around a beautiful woman, I'm a man possessed. I got technique, I'll show you.
And he does. And him and Celeste are getting cozy on the couch. And then Lucille and Colin comes in, and Colin freaks the fuck out because he is just pissed. Him and Celeste, they might fight, but they also love. They're very passionate people, the Italians.
Oh, we know it.
Yeah, it's a complex relationship. She is with another man. He gets jealous, and he likes to watch, and then she kills a man, and they have sex.
Then they make out.
I don't know.
And then mom has to stop it before it goes to penetration. That's basically how the whole movie goes. Like how every season of this show goes is a real will they, won't they, until mom finally pulls them away.
She's really she's the Mo of these Three Stooges. All right, you numbskulls. Only instead of fighting, if the Three Stooges just banged instead of hitting each other.
Wait, you never saw that episode where Larry and Curly try to fuck each other and Mo's like, stop it, guys.
This is for children.
Yeah, Mo goes, this is for children. So now we're at dinner, and I write, well, it's not so much of dinner as everybody's watching Weird Beard eat chicken, right?
Yeah, like Colin is smoking a big pipe.
Oh, and we see Celeste briefly play guitar for like a second, and it's like, okay, I guess she's a musician because she's recording guitar later in the movie.
And then I don't know if you guys noticed this, but I really do love this, is that there's, for some reason, I don't know if this was intentional or not, but the set design is absolutely fucking bonkers in this scene, because right behind Weird Beard is a painting. It's a looks like a kindergartner's painting of a cat. For some reason, it's only hung up on one side of the wall, and the other part is just falling. So it's like a not even crooked. It's just a painting that is now halfway off the wall. That's like leaning on a chair. And I'm just wondering, like, so is this intentional, or are they like, just don't fix it? Nobody will fucking care. Who cares? Just keep rolling.
The set design in that room is just so, it's magical. Just how strange it all is. It doesn't work, but it's just so like, it's just so memorable, and just how chaotic.
Are the Italians known for their like love of curtains that go not even on windows, just on walls?
You know better than us, Mike.
I guess so. Every goddamn scene in this movie, there's like 50 curtains in every room. And by the way, they don't match. It's just like every single one has a different like flower print, or this one's got a zebra print, or this one's just like neon yellow. It's fucking distracting as all hell. And then there's a crooked painting on the wall, and I'm watching a man scarf down chicken. Some guy's smoking a pipe. This girl's playing a guitar, and the mom just has her head in her hands, like, what the fuck, man? This is, and I almost think maybe it's not even Lucille the character, it's the actress, and she's like, I'm done. Like, this is it. I'm fucking
I just can't.
She's like, there's a goddamn painting. It's a 5-foot tall painting. It's halfway falling off the fucking thing, and the director won't fix it. What am I doing?
And it just gets even worse from here, because then Colin's like, hey, want to hear some music? And
Oh, man.
Okay, please tell me you thought this was the same thing I did when it started.
Oh, this is like that tape from the van?
Yep.
And Record City?
Okay, I was going to bring that up, too.
I'm glad we're all on the same board, guys. That was clearly the tape from the van or Record City, because it's just people having sex.
This is before the van, though, so maybe Colin...
Oh, or maybe it's Celeste and Colin's hit single that made its way to America, on 8-track now. Here's the thing is, we never hear past a certain point in the van or Record City, because if you listen past the sex sounds, it's some sort of jazzy song. Mm-hmm. And as the jazzy song starts, Celeste and Colin dance around the room, and then, they're going to put on a show. They just start making out in front of the guests.
And Alex likes it.
He's kind of feeling it.
Oh, yeah. Weird Beard all about it. Like, he's kind of smiling, and then all of a sudden he stops the recording and does a smile like, eh? And they're like, why'd you stop our makeout session? Then they put it back on, and then Celeste and Colin start doing some sort of weird performance art where she like gets on all fours.
And he's like getting behind her. We're going to start this up, but then Mo breaks it up again. She grabs them each by the nose.
Yeah. Larry, Curly, stop making out. Stop it.
Woof, woof.
Lucille comes in and she's like, all right, stop this shit. And then Weird Beard was like, hey, why'd you stop the art show? I was really enjoying that. And then he's like, so we'll do a little more art. Celeste, why don't you drink up? This is a common theme where everybody's trying to get Celeste to just get drunk all the time.
Yeah.
Is strange men are always handing her open beverages. but then she goes, well, hey, you know what? Now that the art show's over, why don't I show you your room, Weird Beard? And then we get, guys, you thought that was weird? It gets weirder. Because Weird Beard and Phyllis are getting comfy in her bed, right?
But before that, Weirdbeard says something like, "Oh, I have a method to help get to sleep better."
Oh yeah, another technique.
It's a blue chew, I think, because he is
Rhino hard.
he's getting ready,
He
guys.
is getting hashtag Rhino hard.
He has hashtag 10 miles of pink steel.
Damn right.
That open floor plan is coming into play now, and I have a question. So, because Colin's always in here, do they share a room? Do him and Phyllis live in the same room?
Well,
We never see his room.
it's like they live on the set of a sitcom. It's all cut in half. Everything's just open.
And yeah, because like the only divider is like a divider you see at like an old Chinese restaurant.
Yeah, and it's see-through, so you can peep through it.
Yeah, he stands by it, not even hidden. He's just standing there. And when Weirdbeard sees him, he kind of smiles like, "All right, now it's on. We got an audience." And then Colin just walks in and he goes, "You know the praying mantis, the role of the male? If you don't go, you'll play that role." And Weirdbeard just kind of looks at him. He's like, fuck it. And Phyllis is like, "Well, get the hell out of here, Colin." Then they get back to business. And guys,
She goes for the dagger, only this time he's ready for it. And he catches her hand and goes, so this is your game, you little bitch.
It's like he's watched the show before. Like he's caught up on all the seasons.
This is the guy who like won a contest and got to be on the show.
so he knows what her plan is. He's like, so this is your kick, huh? Spilling the guy's guts.
He's like, you must have killed Michelle.
And then Weirdbeard pets her hair and it falls off and it's a wig. And it's revealed that she has black hair. And he gets up and just starts laughing hysterically for like 3 minutes.
So why the masquerade, Cinderella? And then just starts twirling and twirling and twirling. Like laughing at the wig.
And her hair is the same color as her aunt's hair and her cousin's hair.
Interesting. And she freaks out while this is going on, right? And then she grabs which I always love is when you have those decorative swords that are real swords on the wall, right?
Well, it's
like the ones that killed that kid in Final Destination 3 when he's like weightlifting.
Or did we have one of those in like Witchery or something? Oh no, it was a giant fish that killed a lady.
I mean, it's Europe, so they have castles, swords, suits of armor everywhere.
That's true. The swords came with the castle when you bought it. They're like, you also get the coat of arms over here. Don't touch the swords, though. They are real. So, well, in case, an intruder comes in, you can always cut them. So she grabs the sword, right? Well, she cuts off a head, but it looks more like like something for a Halloween prop.
Yeah, like something about cutting a man's head off turns it into wax.
Yeah, very reflective.
Yeah, it's as if it's fake.
Like it might as well have been a piñata.
It really, yeah. It's
like a paper mache
it's
head.
something you see in a parade float.
But this is what I love about Giallo movies is this happens so many times. Like if you've ever seen, I forget the exact name of it. It's like To Kill a Duckling or something. I have a review of it.
On
the
Yes, yeah.
The Fulci one?
Yes, that movie has some on point dummy work. Like the dummy work in that movie is just epic.
Is that the one where a person falls and when the dummy hits the ground, the arm pops off?
Yeah, and when it falls and it hits rocks on the way down on a cliff, it sparks. Like it sparks like a sparkler is going off on it.
Oh, very classy.
So I love this though. She cuts the head off of a dummy, apparently, of a paper mache head. It's all reflective and clearly fake. And then the family walks in and they're like, "Not again, god damn it! We just bought this fucking rug, Phyllis. It's been 1 day." Like at this point, they're like, should we be keeping extras around the house? Like, every time she does this, we got to destroy a Persian rug. Should we just buy more? Like, should we have a collection? Because this is getting absurd.
Well, we don't see all this hotel. Maybe there's an entire wing just dedicated
That's
to
true.
rugs.
And
You got to think at one point they're settling for IKEA rugs, right? They're like, all right, Phyllis, if this is how you're going to treat nice things, you're not going to get the nice things anymore.
Look, we're down to beach towels.
Yeah. By the time she kills a guy in season 8, it's just a beach towel.
But after each murder, there's a flashback to like the murder from the opening, and we get a little bit more. Yeah, and this time we get the whole thing of like only her dad can stroke her hair, and he's dead.
And I'm like, oh, well,
Yeah.
I would hope Dad wouldn't stroke your hair, but
Right. And we also we go to a flashback of her dad getting rough with Lucille
Yeah.
and her shouting after him, "Father, what are you doing to Lucille?"
it's hard to tell what's going on because I write that they filmed it in kaleidoscope vision,
Yeah.
which I guess didn't take off as a cinematic device.
I like that effect.
This is kind of what the bee saw.
I like the whole kaleidoscope effect. It's silly and ridiculous, but it totally makes sense with what this movie is.
Oh yeah, to me it was like watching an ABBA music video. I'm like, oh god.
Oh, can you imagine if the music hit every time? You just hear "Dancing Queen."
So then Celeste goes into like a monologue now while Lucille's dragging out the body, and you could see the look on her face, and she's like, God damn it. Every time, Celeste, you gotta like pretend like, oh God, I'm gonna go into my Shakespearean monologue now. Oh, I can't clean a thing. Oh, if only you guys could get rid of this body. Thank you.
Like, yeah, we get it. All right.
I feel like one time they're gonna wait, like they're gonna pull the body just outside of the room, and then they're gonna sneak back in, and she's doing something like, "Oh, we knew it, we fucking knew it."
Not putting her away.
You liar.
Guys, we haven't had this in a long time in a movie, but it's the international sign of something happening.
Oh, we got a plane taking off.
Yes, it's taken off. How many movies since we've had this?
Oh, it's been a while, but I'm so happy to see it. There's another such thing that happens shortly after this. We'll get to it. But there is some... your Grindbin punch card is getting filled up for bingo.
I know what you're talking about.
But yeah, so everybody mark down. Stay tuned.
So here's the thing: is we go to the Italian version of One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest at this point, right? But it's
And as you can imagine, because it's the Italians, this is done with sensitivity and realism.
and so their mental hospitals. Let me explain to you what a mental hospital in Italy looks like. Okay, this is a woman's mental hospital. All right, don't worry, there's no sharp objects, but there are a lot of fire hazards because this room has about, and I'm not joking, every wall has some sort of curtain on it, and I believe there's a part where there's a curtain on top of a curtain at some point. There's so many fucking curtains in this room. And these women are just kind of, well, here's the other thing. They're not dressed as patients, right? They're dressed as models. Like, apparently this is like where the crazy models go, I guess.
I mean, it's Italy. In Italy, every woman is very attractive and looks like a model.
Yes, they all look like models. They all have perfect makeup and hair, right? And they all look like they're going to go back on a night on the town. And this is the mental hospital, right?
This looks like, as this just hit me, it looks kind of like a challenge and the Tyra America's Next Top Model.
Yeah, the episode where Tyra goes, all right, now girls, we're going to pretend we're in a mental hospital.
Yeah, they're going to do a photo shoot, and Tyra's going to be a harsh judge on how crazy or not crazy they look. This is totally something they would have done.
This is absolutely insane. As they're like, it's almost like they got all these models. They're like, well, I don't know how to act. What am I supposed to do in this scene? And the director's like, okay, well, you're all crazy. And they're like, well, we understand that, but how am I supposed to act crazy? He goes, just put the hands up and kind of wander around, go ha pa pa pa. And this is a scene, and just this old man walks in, and he sees this crazy girl, and we cut. And I write, we are 30 minutes into this movie.
Yeah.
What's great about that scene is they explain nothing, and we've never seen any of these characters before.
I mean, if you watch all of season 4, we've gotten some hints of what the scene is.
Because they spend 3 straight episodes at that mental
Yeah.
hospital.
Oh, it's one of those, right?
We see a blonde woman, but then, we cut to Celeste with a new blonde wig. Might be an old one. She switches wigs at some point.
It's more family time, right?
Yeah.
Colin's painting.
Yeah.
Celeste is in her new wig.
These dead men that they've just recently dispatched are going to come back in some form.
Yes, because she says, why are you wearing Alex's sweater, Colin? Take it off. And they get in a big fight as he takes off his shirt.
And I thought she was trying to take off the shirt, and like it got little You know, you know what they do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mo was going to have to break up the hockey fight again.
Yeah, because she runs over and she goes, "Will you stop it? There is no Alex." And I just say, "Okay." Oh, great. The phone rings. And then somebody on the other end is like, "I'm going to come and see you." And Cliff's like, "Yeah, well, you're not welcome here."
You could shove it.
And then he just hangs up the phone. I'm like, what the fuck was that about?
I think you missed an episode.
And then Celeste goes, "I feel empty." And I want, she's like, "I feel empty. I want attention on me." And then you just kind of see Lucille. And again, I'm not sure this is the character or the actress, but she's like, "Fuck my life." Just.
Yeah, she spends most of this movie with that look on her face of just like, it's a living.
You could tell like she quit after this. She just, you could see it in her eyes now that I read that like she's just fucking livid throughout the entire filming of this movie. It's just like, oh my God, I'm playing a character who has to make these two people who are related not fuck each other.
I mean, she fails because the sex tape played earlier. I mean, clearly she wasn't home that day.
Yeah.
So you think that's what they did? They played that to throw it in her face. You're like, look at when you went out for groceries, we fucked. And she's like, well, you don't need to play it every time we have guests.
So yeah, they were like, we made art.
They're weird witch people, of course. They do that stuff.
Did she make like a some sort of stipulation? She's like, well, you can't fuck, but if it is art, I can't argue with art. If it's art, it's fine.
Yeah, it was an art project. You know, it was called Family Love.
Yeah, that was at school. They go, so Colin, what are you going to do for your art project? Fuck my sister. Okay, well, who's next? So that night, everybody's struggling to sleep, right? And then, guys, remember 13 years ago when a random convict showed up for 5 minutes in this movie?
No.
And then got arrested and taken away?
You mean from season 1?
Guess what? He's back.
Oh. Same actor?
I guess.
He looks exactly the same.
I mean,
like from 13 years ago.
Nothing's changed. It's almost like they only had one day to film all the outside the house stuff.
Yeah. And so then he comes in to Colin's room and he's holding a gun to his head and he wakes him up and then he gets Lucille and Celeste and they're all out with, this guy now and he's like, all right, so hey guys, I just got out of prison. I was here 13 years ago and I saw when you were burying that corpse outside. And he basically says, I want $200,000 to keep my mouth shut. And this family's like,
yeah,
what the fuck? What?
And two things happen during this. First, before he does that, Colin tries to go for some MMA shit, like a double leg takedown, tries to snatch him. It doesn't work at all.
No.
He looks
says,
like...
I wasn't in prison for 13 years for nothing, pal. I'm a specialist.
He looks like a Bud Cort from Harold and Maude. like Bud Cort, even like current Bud Cort, like he's never been threatening. And like Colin totally has that look of like, no, you're not physically threatening to anyone.
What I thought was funny is that he says that he wants to see, he saw them burying a corpse, and I almost feel like Lucille's going to be like, well, which one? For fuck's sake, it's been 13 years. You know how many goddamn bodies are out there?
She's like, what season are we talking about here?
Like, she goes, it's almost like, we had to get the acid bath at some point because we ran out of space. Like, the whole body, like, the whole fucking yard is full of bones.
It's sensible. I saw that on a Netflix show about reducing clutter in your life. You want to get an acid tub. But he mentions that he learned a lot of things while he was at what he calls the country club, including the blackmail mob run by Mr. A, also known as Andre.
Oh.
That's pretty big, Mike.
Yeah.
It is, yeah, now that I think about it, yeah.
Oh, I wrote down on my notes, they mentioned 13 years ago about 5 to 6 times in like 2 minutes. They keep dropping.
I think at this point they were unclear we knew it's been 13 years.
Yeah, it's like the people who are dubbing it's like, we got to say something, because even the people that were dubbing are like, who the fuck's this guy? Oh, is he that guy from the start? Because you barely even see his face, by the way, when he's in the beginning of the movie, because it is the thing, it's like, well, we couldn't get a younger actor, so we got to just kind of shoot around it. Like, put him behind a bush or something, so it kind of hides it.
Yeah, and he needs physical evidence of the corpses they bury, or the one corpse he saw them bury, and he's like, and they dig up the exact spot that he remembers because he has, I guess, a photographic memory.
Yeah. Well, he's had a lot of time to think about it.
But I'm just sitting there going like, well, hold on, DNA doesn't exist at this point for testing for police.
Not yet.
What the fuck? What is his plan? He's gonna like dig up bones in a graveyard, and he's gonna call the cops. They're gonna be like, "Yeah, so."
He's gonna go drop him on the police chief's desk.
He's like, "Look at that! I found your boy." And they're gonna be like, "Who? What?" Here's the thing: is while they're digging for the body, the vultures are like going crazy. And then I do love this though. Phyllis is not doing any work, and I do like this. This is the one thing I do like about the convict is he looks at her, he goes, "Hell, hold on a second. How come you don't do any work?" And he hands her a shovel and he's like, "Start digging. You need to start pulling your weight around here." And I almost feel like the rest of the family's like, "Oh, that's all you had to do? Thank
See,
God."
Mike, you finally found someone to root for.
So here's the thing, Bobby. You were rooting for him, right? But then all of a sudden they dig up a dog. They dig up a dead dog.
I like that they were trying to do that. It's like, I want to see that body from 13 years ago. And they're like, here's a dog that's been dead for 2 days.
Yeah, because Colin digs it up. He goes, "Is this what you're looking for?" And then the convict's reaction is almost like, "Oh, damn, it was just a dog." And I'm like, "No, hold on, guy. No. 13 years? It wouldn't be a dog that it's not even decomposed." Like, what?
But he does say, "You think I'm an idiot?" And then, the buzzards won't calm down, so he shoots one of them.
He does say, "You asked for it, damn you."
But then that's when Colin flies into a rage and rushes him, and these two have this big fight where they're rolling around, and the other two members of the family don't help.
Yeah, because they're also like, well, it wouldn't be a great loss if Colin goes away.
But it's strange that so far in this movie we've seen this, this everyone's helping everybody, lending a helping hand to murder people and cut them up and throw them in an acid bath. But right now, as their brother is being overtaken, they just sort of hold each other and cry about it.
Well, again, Bobby, they're like this. They're crying because they're like, "This is our way out. Here it is. We can get rid of Colin."
Is it?
We'll find out.
Is it a way out, Mike?
Well, it might be, Bobby. But no, it just ends with the convict winning, and he gets his gun back, and then he's like, "All right, let's go inside." All right.
That reminded me that in Texas Chainsaw, like there's like a certain like kind of mechanical sound you keep hearing. I can't remember. They kind of have that like with the vultures a bit. Where the vultures make a very distinct sound that you keep hearing over and over again. Except Toby Hooper was a genius with sound design, and this is not. Brilliant.
Oh yeah, in this one I'm like, thank God he shot one of those vultures.
Which I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure if that was real or like dubbed over. Because given it's Italian, I'm not sure what is the real voice or not.
Oh, I was hoping that you meant like an actor choice to shoot the vulture. He's like, "Well, that thing shut the fuck up," and he just shoots it on set. They're like, well. I mean,
it's Italian in the 70s, so it's plausible if they killed the vulture, actually killed it.
So inside, right? This movie is brought to you by J&B Scotch. Just like breaking all the rules, label out J&B Scotch after you're done digging up dead bodies for the day. What do you want to do? Throw back some J&B. Am I right?
I'm not gonna lie. At this point, I could have used some.
Well, that's what so that's the thing is that the convict's like, "Man, this movie, am I right?" And then he's got that label out, and you're just sitting there going, "That is a great idea." He's like, "Well, you know what, guys? Guess what? It's Italy. They sell J&B out in the lobby. Go get yourself a glass." He goes, "Because all we're gonna do right now is just recant the plot." This is basically what happens is the convict, he turns on the jazzy music, right? And then Lucille like tries to call the police, and he's like, come on now, come on. And then he makes Colin tie up the ladies. And as he says, he goes, "Well, I got one main dish and one for dessert." And then, we watch him have his meal, is what happens.
Well, there's a cut. We don't see the act, but, we see Colin's reaction to him violating his family.
Yeah.
Yeah. He tells him, "Old Pascal is going to teach you a passion play."
So now later on, right, because we don't see it, thank God, we cut to later on, and the convict's making Colin shine his shoes.
Yeah, because I guess he's a man of the house now.
And this is a problem I always have, and I had this problem with Girls from Thunderstrip as well. There are 3 of them, and there is one of him.
But he's got the gun.
Yeah, but he's rarely pointing it anywhere. He's usually not paying attention. He's drinking out of a bottle of Jameson. He's pointing the gun at his own foot. Hit him with something.
Yeah, because I think one of the ladies is behind him in the chair. It shouldn't do anything.
At one point, he's got his back to Colin, who is holding an entire bottle of J&B Scotch. And they're like, we're helpless to do anything.
The J&B people said, that's too far. You can't break it over a man's head. We can't have that in a movie. You can murder all the people you want. You can drink on the job. You can drink right before you assault somebody. But God damn you if you break that over somebody's head. God damn you.
Yeah. And this around time he's like, oh, I want a 6-egg souffle, and he gets like a big fancy breakfast.
Yes, he's making fucking demands and shit. Like, he's getting his shoes signed. He's like, hey, where's my fucking 6-egg souffle going? Not an omelet, mind you. Like, he wants a souffle.
And
like, that takes talent,
yeah,
man.
and we see him, count it out. And he's like, 1 egg, 2 egg, 3 eggs. Like, that's actual dialogue in the movie.
And Lucille's like, well, I don't even know how to make a souffle. And he's like, well, break out the joy of cooking. We're learning today. And they're going through it would be great if we just see a montage of souffle after souffle not rising properly.
Yeah, and he gets, the classic bunch of grapes all to himself. Although there's no one to feed it to him, which I guess he would make Colin do, probably.
Definitely. And so here's what happens is he says to everybody, he goes, well, later on, I will be performing another passion play. But for right now, why don't we go outside and get some exercise, right? Let's go dig up some more bodies. So they're digging around the yard, and the convicts making Colin dig up the whole damn yard looking for bones. And I write, well, it's only a matter of time before they find something, right? Like, there's got to be somebody, at least within this radius, with how many people have been killed here.
Definitely.
This is what's funny is that the family kind of now starts getting fed up with him. They're like, man, this fucking guy, right? We got to get rid of him.
Yeah, I kind of had it with this dude.
Felicity even walks up to him. She goes, so, like, just out of curiosity, where the hell do you think we're gonna get $200,000? And so this is great as he just goes, oh, let's go look around the house. So now they just start looking for how he's gonna get money. And he walks over and he goes, hey, well, there's a car. So that's some money. Why don't we go in the basement?
He said, he said at the car, a couple thousand.
Couple thousand there, right? Okay, so let's go check out what you got in the basement.
Let's get a little pad and paper out.
And he's like, well, hey, hold on. What's up with all these bones? She's like, you dummy. These are bones from an archaeological dig. Look how old they are. And he's like, okay.
And one of them's in a straw hat like he works at Angels Stadium.
He's like, hold on a second. What's with this, like, lab? Why is there all these bones and, like, chemicals and stuff? And they're like, yeah, we dig up bones. That's our hobby. That's our rich person hobby. We exhume tombs and clean the bones and then make them into art.
Yeah, I love that that's their nothing to see here explanation is, we're grave robbers.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah, they are Italian, there are Etruscan tombs everywhere.
Yeah.
And, that's a pastime in Italy. Is like, you guys bored on a Friday night? Let's go dig up a body, right?
Yeah, and Colin is making a bath for him, and we see a cuckoo clock, and it's like, oh, I wonder if that's going to play into anything coming up very quickly.
Probably not.
So is this everybody else's one of their favorite scenes of the movie where we get the most bizarre backstory that I think has ever happened maybe in a Bin movie?
Yeah, I think this is where I started to crack at this point.
God, this moment was just like, I didn't know how to process what this character reveal was the first time I saw this. I was like, this is not the movie. This is a mistake. The streaming service ain't a mistake. This is not real.
Okay, so I got multiple questions about this, as I'm sure you guys do, right?
Yeah.
Aren't these people Italian?
Yes, they are, I guess.
So what side of the war would you be on in World War II?
They would have been on the Nazi side, right? Because Mussolini?
Yeah.
Because what happens is she goes, oh, here's some cyanide to Colin, and he goes, the fuck? Where'd you get this? And she goes, back when I was in the war. And then we cut to Schindler's List. It becomes a black and white movie.
Yeah, it becomes like a black and white women in prison movie because it's just a bunch of nude women being led down the hall by Nazis.
Yeah, and she goes, all my family and friends were taken to the gas chamber during the war. And I'm just like, where are we? Like, what the hell is going on? And then for some reason, everybody gets put into the gas chamber except for her.
Because the Nazis are having some fun here at what was it, SS Camp 7, Love Camp 7, and they decide to make her watch all of her friends get gassed in the shower, and she sees how
which is very odd that the gas chamber would have windows, like a
glass
zoo
panels.
type of. Yeah, it's like, what the fuck? What do you need that for?
I don't know, man. Nazis were up to some weird shit. But she explains that
So-
with this gas, there's not even time to react. Like, you've got seconds once that gas hits
And
you.
I have a false memory because at first, like, for some reason, I always think that like you get more backstory of her sleeping with a couple SS guards and stealing the cyanide. But every time I watch, I'm like, that's not in the movie. Why do I think that happens in here?
Because much like the way we dream, your brain is trying to make sense of what doesn't make sense. So it's filling in the gaps of information.
Because what happens is she just goes, and then I got the cyanide, and we're back to real life. And I'll go, wait, what the fuck? Wait.
And Colin's like, and Colin's reaction is, oh, okay.
And what better way to go from this, super dark flashback of watching Nazis gas people during the Holocaust than smash cut into a fat guy's asshole?
Oh, before we get to that part, I got a few questions. One, they are Italian, so it doesn't make any sense that they'd be on the receiving end of a Nazi death camp. Two, we see her watch her friends and family die in the gas chamber, but then we just cut back and she goes, and then it was all fine. Wait, what? So what happened? Like, hold on. What exactly happened to the point where she somehow got out of that death camp and then also was managed to smuggle some cyanide pills with her in like an Altoid case? What the fuck's going on?
I don't know.
You know what? Fuck it. Cut to a fat man's asshole.
I was hoping you guys would have some better answers because I still don't understand why this is here.
And near the filmmakers, like Bobby said, we just cut to a fat man's asshole. He's in a tub, right?
Yeah.
What you want to see is you go from a Nazi death camp to an even more disgusting scene of this man. Oh my God. He's got like multiple sponges and he's just freaking downing himself in soap and it's
horrifying.
And by the way, you guys, I'm sure you guys were the same with me. He's moving around so much in this tub. You're like, please don't just... God damn it, that water's moving a lot. It's covering the crotch, but please, for fuck's sake, don't knock any more water out because we are getting dangerously close to Fat Man Dick coming out in this. And I'm like, I don't need it.
To his credit, he keeps covering himself with the sponge.
If you've seen the movie Female Trouble, you get to see Define's dick, and that dick
is
very disgusting. It looks diseased. And I'm sure this guy's penis is not as horrific looking as Divine's was.
Well, at least in Female Trouble, they didn't go directly from a Nazi death camp to Divine's dick. So
that is true.
I was hoping that this scene would also still be in black and white. I'm like, do they really need to put this part in color? But instead, what happens is this fat man's taking a bath, the most disgusting bath I've ever seen. It's like somebody's getting clean, yet he's still getting dirty. And what happens is that they somehow rigged the cyanide pill in the cuckoo clock. And when it hits the hour... the cyanide pill drops into the drain and smoke goes everywhere and the convict dies as Colin's laughing from outside the window.
It's pretty rad.
Yeah, Colin likes to peep on everyone.
That's his thing.
Yeah, he goes inside, right, with his gas mask on, and then he turns on the fan because, you don't want somebody accidentally walking into that bathroom getting a little cyanide cocktail. And so then he runs downstairs and Felice is like, hey, hold on, why are you wearing that gas mask? And he goes, I was playing World War I.
But definitely not World War II, because we're Italian.
And so then Colin and Lucille, this is really weird, is she's like, what the hell are you doing? And then they're like, hey, Felice, we got a surprise for you. Check out the bathroom. And she goes inside and she sees the convict's dead and she flips out.
And she says, you knew I liked him. You were jealous.
What?
And then she's like, oh, you're a worm. You're less than a man. And he's like, yes, put me on my knees. And it's like, what's happening here?
And they start making out again. And of course, Mom has to be like, oh, for God's sake, you two. So like pull them off each other again.
This feels like an actor's choice. She's like, fucking stop. I can't take it anymore.
How many times? When's it going to end?
And this part is like, oh, I guess he's like to be cuckolded. And then... she kills the guy, or I don't know.
He's into it all, man. He likes every bit of it.
I just imagine people, here's the thing, is like they're walking out of the theater, if this ever screened in America, and people just going, man, those Italians are weird. Like, what the fuck, man? I think that's the last Giallo movie I'm going to go see.
That's the comment card at the advanced screening. These Italians are weird, is all you wrote on it.
Bobby, remember how we always talk about why the Italians changed their name for American movies? I think this was it. I think they're like, we can't have another one of these. People are going to think it's the family fucking movie again.
Yeah.
You got to come up with a fake American name if you're going to put your movie out in America. Because unfortunately, in the movie theaters, Italians are known for incest at this point. So we got to stop that.
This came out the same year as Argento's first film, so Giallo got corrected quickly and improved quickly after this.
There's no family fucking in that one?
Bird Crystal Plumage? I'm pretty sure no. It's just nonsensical Argento plot and some really great set pieces.
So what happens in this is that this family is fucked. Okay? They are all so screwed up. There is nobody to root for it.
Yeah, Colin makes a joke where he says, like, final solution. Like, he has a final solution for him. Not sure if you picked up on that. And it's like a double pun of only way to kill him / the Holocaust, which is really...
Yeah. I'm sure it's slayed in Italy.
Yeah, that's like the one moment I'm like, I do not care for that at all. That's too far.
Yeah, I don't need that either.
I'm fine with the family fucking, but come on, guys. Come on. So apparently, at this point, Celeste just blacks out. Okay, this is when we learn that, like, when the actual murders happen, when she kills people, she apparently says, well, wait, hold on. I just black out. And then you're telling me I've killed these people? Because she apparently didn't know that she had actually killed anybody. And you almost feel like Colin and Lucille are like about to call her out on her bullshit. It's like, Celeste, you can stop. Okay, it's one thing you never help us clean up the bodies, but don't pretend like you don't know that you killed them. Come on now. And so while Lucille and Colin are cleaning this body in the basement, you know, Celeste is not helping because now she's watching in horror because she's like, I've never seen a dead body before. And then Colin picks up some sort of fake head on a stick, a piñata head. And you know what? This piñata head is shaped like Dad.
And she yells out, Papa!
Is that in her mind, or does he really just have a paper mache dad head?
No, it's in her mind. He's teasing her with Pascal's head. And for a minute, she starts to see her father's head because, you know, she's a banana train.
And so then she's all freaking out. And then all of a sudden, a speedboat shows up at the villa now. And this is, here we go, guys. This is when we start to get twist after twist after twist after twist. Bobby, please explain. Who comes off the speedboat? Some old man comes off the speedboat. Bobby, who is he?
It's Thurston Howell the Third. And he says, Lovey, I'm back. I made it off the island. And what he actually says is, it's me, Andre.
And there are so many fast zooms. So many fast zooms.
But
I thought they were going to quick draw on each other.
They're like double zoom ins, and it's like cut to another cut, double zoom in, another cut, double zoom in. It's like, fucking stop already. I get it.
It was insane.
Lucille mentions, oh, it's been 1 year since we killed Pascal. And it's like, hold up a second. It's been 1 whole year.
Wait, what?
Oh, I didn't even catch that.
You didn't?
I didn't either. I thought this was real time.
No, like she mentions, oh, it's been about a year since Pascal. It's like, wait a second. This makes no sense.
So we're on season 15 at this point?
Yeah.
Holy fuck.
By the way, this movie was 1970, so now the narrative is in 84 at this point.
Yeah.
This guy shows up and he goes, hey, I'm your long lost guy. I'm that guy, your relative. Remember how I got lost on a boat at sea? Yeah, it's me.
Which was the backstory on what happened to Andre, was that he had been lost at sea, which we up till now had thought was the alibi, the cover-up for the murder. But now here he is standing here, but he's a completely different guy. He's actually the old guy who visited the mental hospital midway through the movie for no reason.
And he says, I'm here after 14 years. It's me.
And she doesn't believe it. And he explains he's gotten extensive plastic surgery, you see. And as he says, now my name is Derek Stevens.
Oh, okay.
What the fuck is...
Yeah, I just blew your fucking minds. So
Right.
he's the Derek they were writing a letter to earlier. The letter was to tell him to come back because everything is fine here.
And he goes, so I'm Celeste's father. And he almost like looks at the audience. He's like, do you understand what's going on? Because I read the script and I'm at a loss, guys.
And they bring him in to say hi to Celeste. And she's not having it. She's like, no, my father's dead. I killed him. And they give you the real story of what happened. And here's what happened, guys.
Wait, is this a real story?
This is the real story, Spencer.
All right.
Maybe.
Who knows? But for now, this is the real story. See, that night, 14 years ago at this point, I guess, a killer came into your room. And they show this for a man in like a stocking mask comes in through the window. And there's a tussle and a shootout. And during the madness, Andre escapes through the window. Andre as he looked before. So Andre, the real one, before the plastic surgery, escaped out the window. And he's the one who took off on the speedboat. Now, at this point, the daughter came in. The daughter being Phyllis. And as is explained here, since he was in your room, she assumed it was you. So she sees a man in her father's bedroom, assumes that must be my father.
All right.
Despite him looking nothing like her father. And he assaults her, and he ends up raping her. And that's when the murder that we saw happened. You know, from that moment on, she believed that she killed her father, who wasn't actually her father, because he ran out through the window, escaped to a different country, and had plastic surgery.
And we're just going, what? And then we just cut from that to dad is now... So the new dad, right? Dad who has showed up.
The new dad.
He comes into Phyllis's room while she's sleeping and then starts creepily petting her face.
Yeah, he says, yeah, I thought so. You're not Mr. A. He wouldn't try to make it with his own daughter. And they start fighting. And she goes...
Well, I was like, hold on. Yes, he would.
Sure.
If he's part of this family, that is completely acceptable, Colin, and you fucking know it.
Literally everyone in this movie would.
Which was like, okay, Colin, you have no room to talk.
But what's great that happens in this is how quickly there's a turnaround, because he does this whole, like, you're not really her father. And then when they start tussling and they're fighting, she tries to break it up, and he goes, so, you take on your own father, huh? You're disgusting, you slut.
Yeah.
You can't have it both ways, Colin.
And it's just like Lucille comes in and just is like, oh, for fuck's sake. She then says a story. Who the fuck is this she's talking about? She comes in and she gives a monologue about a lady getting hit by a car?
Yeah, because she is asked where her daughter Esther is. What happened? You had a daughter too. What happened to her? And she goes, oh, she was hit by a car. And now we're going into a flashback about that.
But we couldn't film a scene. We just have two still pictures. One of a man driving a car and one of a girl dead.
And a screeching sound while we flip those pictures around and zoom in on them.
Yeah.
We should have had a little drawing of a car come into frame.
We just...
And I think they cut to them at the cemetery, and the guy in the cemetery has a weird Popeye-like voice.
Yeah, well, let's get us there, because Derek goes, well, I want to see. He says, I want to see, show me the body.
Oh, okay, we'll go to her grave. He's like, no. Show me the body. And like, so we hire like the freaking...
Show me the Carfax.
Yeah. Which is, I believe, what they do for Carfax. It's like, if it was in an accident, they...
You have to go dig up the body.
Yeah. So they go to they like get some guy that works at the cemetery to open a tomb. And he's like, all right, well, there's the coffin. And they're like, no, get it open. Oh, okay. It's kind of weird. You rich people are kind of weird, man.
You're doing the wrong voice. He sounds like Popeye.
Oh, yeah, he does. He kind of walks up with he's like, so you want me to open this coffin, huh? Let me get me spinach. And he just goes, da-da-da-da-da, and opens the coffin lid, right? And there's like a child's skeleton.
That's fun.
And the dad's just like, the new dad goes, okay, that's good. And then they just put it away. I go, what the fuck was the point of this?
But that does lead to more questions, to more reveals later on. Like, we'll get there.
Like, whose body is this? So we're back. How many people? So we're back at the villa, right? And the dad, he goes, hey, why are you driving Michelle's car around?
Whatever happened to him anyway?
Yeah, and then Colin goes, oh, him and his friend, they'll be back. No worries. Just, shut
and
up.
We do another crazy zoom.
And then Dad walks over to Lucille and he goes, I'm just going to slap you in the face now. And he slaps her in the face and he goes, I know that girl inside's not Phyllis.
Now, where is she?
The real Phyllis is in a mental hospital.
She's completely incurable from a nervous breakdown, and she's the rightful owner of this place. And while they're having this discussion, we pan up to the upstairs window, and there's a kind of like Twitch of the Death Nerve. They got the two kids with the gun.
I never even made that Bay of Blood connection until this now.
Oh, really? That was the first thing I thought, was like, oh shit, this is Bay of Blood.
He's pointed out the window. He goes, too messy. We'll find another way to kill him. But that's, we need to be more creative.
He says it's too vulgar. It's too noisy. We need to do something with artistry.
And she's like, okay, we should kill him though. Let's make sure we get that done. And he goes, yeah, we will. So then a car pulls up to the villa. How much, what's the time jump here is that a car pulls up to the villa and the real Celeste is now here.
Another 8 years.
And then dad comes out and he goes, oh, hey, Celeste. The new dad's like, hey, how you doing? And she's like, I don't know who you are. And he's like, no, I'm your dad. And then fake Celeste comes and Colin come up to greet her. And the real Celeste just kind of wanders around. But
her aide, like her CNA or whatever, nursing aide's like, oh, you have to approach her with no emotion because she will react negatively.
Yeah. She gets a little skittish, a little squirrely. You got to come at her real soft.
So apparently they were soft with her whole life because nobody taught Celeste how to use a swing properly. Is that she stands on it?
I've seen that in other movies. I think it's some Japanese movies of like stand-up swing. So
I've seen it before.
And she's like, yay, Papa this man used to swing me all the time. And she has this flashback to this guy. Now, Bobby, what's this guy's name? This creep guy? I just call him Creepy Guy.
Creepy Guy? Who are you talking about?
Yes, there's some guy that she says it's not even her dad. It's some other guy or something that comes and swings her, right? Or who the fuck? Is this her dad?
No,
who the fuck is this?
That's the guy.
Yeah, this is a flashback. This is a flashback to when her dad would push her on the swing.
Yeah, and it's not her.
Yeah, so that's her dad.
Yeah, we don't see him because of the plastic surgery.
So it's this creepy guy that looks nothing like the old man because this creepy guy has like the Costanza haircut and all sorts of things, and he apparently swings her. And then, guys, we cut from that to back to reality, or I write what's left of it. The real Celeste then goes over to say hi to her vulture pet, and then fake Celeste goes, "Oh, I remember who I am now. I used to play with you on that swing. I'm your good friend."
And we flash back to them hanging out on the swings together, and then in the flashback we pan over to the garage where like some serious mafia shit's going on. Like a dude's in a chair and a bunch of goons are talking to him.
Like we cut to Massacre Mafia style.
Yeah,
like it's just a whole different movie, and it's like, what the fuck is Duke Mitchell doing here now?
And we get weird cuts of little Colin peeping on his older cousin swinging.
Jesus.
And I hate that point just out, but she's wearing a skirt, and it's like, are they trying to go for what I think they're going for?
Absolutely, they are.
Ugh.
I mean,
at this point, certainly
with this family. So then we're back at the house in modern day, and Celeste is looking at a painting of her dad. Then she turns around and goes, "Oh, there's my dad." And then fake Celeste, she kind of like freaks out and goes like, all right, everybody get the fuck out of this movie. I don't know what the hell is going on. And so then, guys, I said it's then revealed in this scene that Colin and fake Celeste are actually brother and sister.
Right. Because they explain, you're Hester, you're my daughter. And then we do a zoom, a spin, and 2 more zooms. And
Lucille has been watching them fuck for years.
her son and daughter. And I love Colin's reaction, though, because he just starts laughing and kind of walks into the background like, well, shit.
I don't think he cares.
No, he's just kind of laughing it up.
I don't think either. I took it as he thinks it's funny. He's like, well, we can still fuck, right?
It's all the same. Can you put the wig back on?
There's one twist, right? Hold on. Then the new dad goes, hey, you know what? You like twists? I got a better twist. Lucille, I know that you killed Celeste's real dad because you wanted to take his house and you had an affair with him in front of your husband so that you could take this house. And she flips out and she hits a potted plant, and the severed head of the dad is in the potted plant in the living room.
Yeah, we set this up earlier in the movie. There's a throwaway line where she talks about she can't get plants to grow in anything but this potted plant.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So the severed head, which is kept, by the way, for 15 years or 14 years or whatever, perfectly intact.
And it is the size of a basketball, and it is in a bag.
And I'm like, is there any point where somebody's like, what the fuck smells in here? This room smells like death.
I mean, you'd get used to the smell at some point, right?
Yeah, I guess so. But every time a guest come over, they're like, oh, God.
I think that guest is too freaked out by the children to even really
probably.
to notice the smell of a corpse in the house. Oh, but is this like this kind of sleepaway camp where like she raised her daughter to be her niece? But
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Yeah, she in order to cover things up, she raised her as if she was like her niece instead of her daughter.
What she says is, they go, well, then they look at the real Celeste. They go, hey, everything's fine, real Celeste. It's all good, okay?
Yeah, you've come a long way, but it's all clear now. And she realizes, like, I never killed anybody. No one ever raped me. I'm not even her.
But she's still kind of going around acting like a crazy person
Sure.
from the beginning of the movie.
yeah, and Lucille was the governess of a rich family or something. They mentioned she was the governess, which means it's probably hired by a rich family. But who is that rich family? It doesn't matter.
This is all like, I don't know what the fuck's going on. And then fake Celeste has a mental breakdown. And she's like, but I thought I was Celeste and that I killed people. And I go, well, you did kill people. You did.
You have definitely
killed people.
But that doesn't seem to matter now. Those don't count. She's like, I've never killed anyone. And she takes off her wig and she apologizes to the real Celeste.
Yeah, she goes, I'm sorry for pretending to be you. I guess man, what a fucking crazy 14 years. Am I right?
And that's when we get the reveal that Lucille was Antoine's mistress, Antoine being the goon that had broken into the house that night. And we get that whole thing about you've been carrying on this affair forever. That happens here.
Hold on, that Anton guy, that's not Celeste's father, is it?
No. Andre.
Because Anton was the guy who was pushing her on the swing.
Yeah, that's Antoine.
Yeah,
And
he'd been around
Andre-
because it's that mafia thing where he'd been close to the... Because if you recall, the father was like a mob leader of sorts. He was running a whole blackmail thing with his goons. So it was like one of his right hand men.
Okay, yeah, he was the guy who was pushing her on the swing.
Yes.
All creepy.
Yes.
Because I was like, why is this creepy guy pushing her on the swing and stuff? So that's Anton. And apparently the story is that Lucille had an affair with Anton, and it was all a plan to kill the dad of that house so that Lucille could get the house for herself and Anton, but then she also killed Anton?
Yeah, it was a double triple cross.
Anton was the guy who was pretending to be the criminal, like the killer in the room.
Yeah.
And then he tried to rape Celeste because he's always creeping on her anyways.
Because literally everyone on the planet wants to, apparently.
But real Celeste, not fake Celeste. But yeah. And then Lucille flips out and kills Anton.
Right.
Yes, in front of the children.
Wait. Then what the fuck happened to the dad?
He escaped through the window at the beginning of that scene.
Yeah, he escaped.
So where is he?
He
left. Took off. He's never been seen again.
So the dad is alive.
Well, as of right now, we've been believing that this is Derek after the plastic surgery and all that.
At this point, Lucille, like the audience, goes into the bathroom and just pops a cyanide pill into the sink.
Yeah, we get one more flashback to her time in the concentration camps, and then she goes and takes herself out of this movie. She's like, you know what, you guys, fuck it.
Yeah, she goes, I'm done with this movie. I'm done with my career.
And then
goodbye.
I'm like, does anyone else have any twists they want to float out here while we're at it? And then I get another one, Mike. And I get another one, Spencer.
Say it. Somebody tell me. This is the twist of the twist of the twist.
The cops all show up and they're putting people away in the squad cars, and they turn to Derek/Andre and they say, all over, Inspector?
The case is closed, is what he says.
Turns out no one ever found the dad, and he didn't get plastic surgery and come back as Derek. Derek's a cop.
Oh, they did find the dad. Okay, he tells Celeste in a throwaway line. He goes, "Oh yeah, Celeste, your real dad."
Yeah, he says your father died in prison years ago, but he asked the police to look after you. So your dad died in prison, but right before he did, he told me to do this.
Yeah, but even more baffling is that they leave the door open, the bathroom door where she killed herself. So that means there is cyanide smoke in the house.
So we know how this movie really
It's for the
ends.
best. It really is for the best. At this point, you expect the cyanide to start creeping in the theater, and they're like, "All right, I hope you enjoyed the movie. Get out," because that's how they end it. By the way, they just kind of cyanide the audience as they go, "Bye, here, Flesh, you got a house."
They leave the real Phyllis, who up until that afternoon had been institutionalized for over a decade, and they just leave her alone to her new life at her castle.
Yeah, she's still wandering around. She doesn't know what the hell's going on. She's just wandering around like a model in that Tyra Banks challenge.
Yeah, she won the challenge.
They go, and the winner of this challenge gets a castle in Italy.
And with the timing of it, did they just leave the mom's body upstairs? Because everyone just kind of bails.
Well, yeah, they know. They're like, they got the thing in the basement. They could take care of it. Oh, no. Wait, hold on. Yeah, you're right, Bobby. They don't.
Yeah, no one closed that door.
Well, no. Colin brings her in the cop car with him.
The corpse of the mom?
Yes, he carries it and he puts her in the back seat.
Okay. A lot happens in a short amount of time.
Because the next thing we see is that, like, they go, "All right, bye, Phyllis, enjoy your house," and even her nurse is leaving, and then we just cut to cars driving away from the house, and the credits roll.
Yeah.
And the credits just kind of come up, and it feels like the movie gave up. When the credits roll, you hear the movie go, ugh.
They're like, "Look, if you just put a bunch of shit at the end of it that doesn't make sense, but then you roll the credits, people will think they saw something profound." It's a real Freud deal, you know?
You kind of have to write it all down for it to make sense. You go, okay, you can make a chart, maybe an evidence wall, but watching it just for the first time as a viewer, I don't know how anyone follows that.
So would you guys recommend this movie?
If you like weird, crazy, I feel specifically Italian films, like this is very Italian, low budget sleaze. If you like that type of stuff, in like the nonsensical nature of it, give this a watch. You'll never see anything like this ever again.
Yeah, this is a good example of how Giallo can go wrong.
Oh yeah,
it's still entertaining. I bought the DVD that's out of print on eBay because I generally like watching this because it's just so nonsensical and stupid and weird.
Like, I don't know if I could, like, see, the problem is like, we've already explained everything, right? So we've ruined it all.
Yeah, kind of. If you haven't seen the film yet, you shouldn't have listened to this.
Yeah, we should have prefaced that in the beginning by saying, if you have any interest, you should watch the movie before you listen to this.
But I think that's what the majority of our listeners do anyway. Spencer, am I right by saying this?
Yeah. I usually listen to the end to see if it's worth sitting through.
Oh, okay.
Because what was it? Not Lunch Wagon. There was another questionable one that I watched. It's like, oh God.
You're like, I can't keep doing this to myself.
Yeah.
That's how we feel all the time. Why do we keep doing this?
Well, you know what's really weird is that every time a patron seems to recommend a movie to us, we'll like hate it. And I feel really bad because I'm like, we're trashing on this movie and they probably love it. And then I'll get messages later where they're like, yeah, that was great. You guys really trashed that piece of shit. Yeah. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, why'd you make me watch that?
Yeah, this is just, I don't know. I have a weird soft spot for it. I know it's garbage, but I just find it weirdly entertaining.
I'm with you on that completely.
If you have not seen Giallo movies before, it could be a good introduction to, like, obviously it's when it goes wrong, but it's like, it's just so crazy. Like, if you enjoy it, you know, there's a lot more that's a lot better.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not all this weird, but they're all pretty weird, but it's hard to recommend, but it's something, all right. It's certainly not boring.
No.
So, guys, do you hear that sound?
Oh, God.
How do you think Bobby and DeVito, would fit into the world of In the Folds of the Flesh, which I'm sure is a title that would get Bobby in the movie theater for sure?
It sounds like it's about DeVito.
Well, mine is Bobby. He has family outside of America, and part of that family is his weird cousin Colin, and his cousin Colin introduced him to show him some tapes that he made with his sister, and Bobby's like,
"Oh no,
good idea." And Bobby, he keeps trying to make those tapes, but Sally, no, other women, no. So he has to buy a bootleg tape for his Vans to seem cool.
Okay. I like that. I like it. What do you think, Bobby?
Well, as I think that there was more to that bone collection than we saw. I wouldn't be shocked if one of the skeletons still had the hair intact. And she's
had an extra bone sticking out of the bottom.
Absolutely, because she's had many suitors, many people come by and try to get a little fresh, and then the family has to take care of business. And I have a feeling a certain van came rolling through the countryside.
And Bobby, you do know that the straight arrow can double as a submarine.
It can make that long trip. And I think it was the van's final trip. I think there may have been the wrong kind of dagger coming out at the end of that one.
So when her and the convict are digging up the yard, at one point he hits metal.
Yep.
And then he goes like, "What the hell is this yellow thing?"
Exactly.
I got one that's a real deep cut.
All right.
But if you remember all the way back in our Vaniversary when we covered Malibu Beach, which is the quasi-sequel to the Van, we saw that Bobby had a sister, guys. And here's the thing. I feel like Bobby got that tape. He played it in his 8-track, right? Mm-hmm. And for some reason, he started to just become very attracted to his sister.
Oh, dear.
And here's the thing, though. He got a little too attracted, and he kind of went crazy. And no, we never see Bobby in Malibu Beach. I believe we do, because that's not Bobby's sister anymore. That's Bobby with a wig on.
Oh, man. That is deep.
Deep-ass cut.
Holy shit. I love it.
It always goes to the top, guys. It always goes to the top.
And I have what would Bronson do?
Sweet.
He would walk in and be like, "Oh, that's your brother? I'm gonna go."
He's on the speedboat out of here.
You don't think there'd be a part when Bronson's making out with Celeste on a bed and he looks over and he goes, "Three's alright with me."
Not with Colin. He'd want Lucille would be like, "Oh God, not again."
What if they sent Bronson as the undercover cop?
Yeah, I heard there was
rape is involved. So
I heard there was a
Bronson
rape
would
and a
wanna-
murder. And so I think he may have, that those first couple murder scenes, Bronson may have been under the bed.
Oh. I just imagine him and Quasimodo showing up in that boat. Hey, you don't remember me, but I'm your father. It's me, Celeste, your father.
No, I am Italian. I'm not Lithuanian. I am Italian.
Yeah, and he's wearing like a he's wearing like an Italian hat and got a bowl of spaghetti with him. He goes, "Look, I'm Italian."
What's the matter for you?
And he tosses some pizza dough up in the air, So, guys, Spencer, where can everybody find you?
When this comes out, High and Low Curse-Off, a Curse-Off podcast is over, but we come back in March or April. I haven't decided yet for Spike Lee, for We Cut Heads, a Spike Lee podcast.
Awesome.
We Cut Heads was his student film that he graduated, his final student project thing. It's on YouTube. You can watch it. But it's under Spike Lee. It's a different format, Spike Lee film with what won Best Picture or Cannes that year, or other stuff depending on the options, and exploring like black film, African films. That's a little something different. And I will be. This comes out in February, so shortly after this comes out, I will be on Pet Sematary talking about The Hills Have Eyes 1 and 2.
Oh, rad.
The originals. I'm not looking forward to 2 because I always heard it's terrible, so I always avoided it. But Wendy was like, "Nah, we should talk about 2." So I'm going to finally bite that bullet. But the Pet Sematary, it's talk about animal movies or movies with animals playing a significant part. So it's got Super Dogs and Hills Have Eyes. And there's a dog flashback in part 2. And the dog has a flashback.
The dog itself has a flashback.
So there's that, and look out for a week ahead the Spike Lee podcast in March, April time. First episode will be Malcolm X because it's the longest movie he's made so far.
Cool. That sounds great.
A fantastic pivot from doing all the Kurosawa. I'm excited to hear that.
Oh yeah, it'll be less time, so I'm kind of looking forward to having a a shorter season to go through.
Cool. Everybody here can find us on grindhousefilm.com. We're Twitter at GrindPod. We're Facebook at the Grindbin Podcast. We are also on Patreon, where you can hear our weekly mini show, The Mini Bin, which Bobby and I did an entire month this month of children's programming. Grindbin is for the children. Hashtag
Minis are for kids.
Minis are for kids. I forgot my own tagline. And we discuss some, oh my God, holy shit. By this time,
Do you want to run down the titles that we've done this month?
Well, by this time, the Zoobly Zoo episode has aired, and we have also aired. Oh my God! I just realized. Yeah, there's 4 weeks in February. So you've heard the Zoobly Zoo. We've also had what was the second one we did? Oh yeah, RoboCop. Yes, RoboCop.
We did an episode of RoboCop the animated series,
and I'm not even kidding. It's RoboCop fights the fake news. It's a real thing.
It is something.
Yeah, it is fucking crazy. And then Bobby, the patrons voted for one of the episodes, one of the mini bins, which is I think a show you really, really, really wanted to win that poll because you kind of loaded it.
You know, I'm not upset about it. I am not upset about it. I would have done been with anything that they picked, but our beloved listeners have picked Hulk Hogan's Rockin' Wrestling.
Wow. Which
does not feature the voice talents of Hulk Hogan or any of his friends.
Well,
what?
That's good, because Hulk Hogan is a racist.
Yes, he is.
So wait, who does?
So it's probably better off.
Who does Hulk Hogan's voice?
Do you want me to tell you now, or do you want to find out on the mini bin?
Is it Frank Welker?
It is not Frank Welker.
Oh.
It's actually someone in their first role who went on to be famous elsewhere.
Holy shit!
Well, I guess you're going to have to check out our Patreon.
I'm going to have to check out the episode myself.
Google it.
Yeah, because I'm going to have my mind blown as Hulk Hogan shows up, not with the Hulk voice. That's going to be a real odd one.
And that's the most amazing part is he's not trying to sound like Hulk Hogan.
Well, listen to this one, guys. We haven't recorded this episode yet, but goddamn, even I want to hear it, and I'll be on it.
It's going to be something else.
So, Spencer, I'm sure you'll join us again in the near future for another episode of the Grind Bin.
I hope so.
Yeah, hopefully School of the Holy Beast. Or
just bring us a movie. Because, again, Spencer, you are a member of our Patreon.
That is true.
And you have to suffer through all the mini bins, which...
I like the mini bins. They're fun.
Bobby, fix me a bath.
Hey, Bobby, I got the money.
Dad, I made the team. But you're a hooker.
Get that goddamn thing out of your mouth.
I said it, knocker.
Book ain't got no real rhythm.
Hello, Pizza Man.
We're gonna play a little game, baby.
I just love fun and games. Get a little girl all hot and horny.
This is Los Angeles.
How the hell is women's live? I'm horny. And maybe Daddy would have had to kill himself because he couldn't get it up anymore.
What a shame.
For jacking off. Come on, just step on the gas before we get cream. And